Roll call, please.
Matheson.
Here.
Putz. Here. Balo.
Here.
Laran.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public hearing on non-agenda items only. If there's something that's not on the agenda that you want to say your piece on, come on up. 3-minute limit.
My name is Timo Nicolau. I'm at 8 South North Shore. We're finding someone's doing a renovation, and I don't know or care if they have permits or not, but it's my understanding this is at 358 West Flint Street, excuse me, that someone is converting a single-family home to a 3-unit multi-unit. Are you guys aware of that?
Can you please repeat the address so she gets it written down?
Yeah, 358 West Flint. It's my understanding you're not aware of it because my wife earlier today spoke with someone about this issue, and she was not aware of it. What's her name? Sunny, is that?
Summer.
Summer.
I can tell you I'm not aware of it.
We just want to make sure.
Can you be aware of it and confirm if this is correct or not? Or if they went through rezoning, or, I just always know that for the last 12 years it's a single-family home.
Okay.
And it's, again, I have no proof or knowledge. Close sources have told us that's what's happening. I just want to confirm that if that is the case.
Okay.
Now, they might have gone to building and.
Heavy renovations going on. There's
I
a,
mean, they're working on it right now?
oh yeah, there's a big trash unit there, yeah.
Okay.
If they needed variance, we don't know anything about it.
Is that what's required as a variance to do a zoning change?
Us, we are zoning variances. We grant variances when things don't match up with what they should.
The zoning, or the zoning, okay.
Single-family subdivision.
And, okay, I just want to make it aware, and if, I don't know, do you get back to me? I don't know, people don't seem to answer email back, I don't know. Do you guys, how do you get back to people?
We will have, we will either have the planner or village clerk get back to you.
Okay, and on another issue, you guys have no responsibility for what's going on with the seawalls? Is that any your jurisdiction at
Only
all?
if it's variances.
Only if there are variances?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing nobody else, I will close the hearing and move on to approval of the minutes, approving the minutes for May 7th, 2026, BZA regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? No. Motion carries. Next item is the BZA preface. Basically how this will play out. We'll have public comment per case, and then we will have the presentation by the planner staff on project, presentation by the petitioner, and then recommendation by the planner, and then board deliberation. The next item is new business. Public hearing. First item under that is public hearing on case A-26-003, 214 South Broadway, Suite 300, dimensional variance request. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing for A-26-003, 214 South Broadway, Suite 300.
I'll support.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Public hearing is open for members of the public to come on up. State your name, 3-minute limit.
No public comment?
Seeing no public comment, motion to close,
Motion to close.
support.
Second.
Okay, motion and support, all in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Okay, the next item is the A-26-003, 214 South Broadway, Suite 300, mention the various requests. And we'll have the presentation by the planner. Please.
Okay, A26-003, variance request, dimensional variance request from Chapter 155, sign regulations for Suite 300 located at 214 South Broadway Street. The application was submitted by Carrie Torco on behalf of Linwood Orion LLC, the applicant. They are proposing the dimensional variance to the sign regulations to erect a 23 square foot total sign on the southern facing wall. The building is a multi-tenant building located on M24 between the lake and South Broadway Street. The subject property is zoned PUD and also located within the height overlay district. The ordinance allows for one additional wall sign not to exceed 12 square feet in area. It should be noted that since submitting the variance request, the applicant has installed the sign without approval and/or permits. So when we review the variance standards for approval, I'll just run through each of these. The first is strict compliance with restrictions governing area, setback, frontage, height. Bulk density or other non-use matters will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose or will render ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. Strict compliance with the ordinance provisions will not unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property. The proposed variance for increased signage would promote visibility to the business, though compliance with the standards would not create an unnecessary burden. B, the variance will provide substantial justice to the applicant as well as the neighboring properties. I believe that the variance would provide the applicant justice and improve visibility to patrons and new customers. C, the variance requested is the minimum variance needed to provide substantial relief to the applicant and/or consistent with justice to other property owners. The variance requested is not the minimum variance needed to provide substantial relief to the applicant. The applicant's requesting a sign 23 square feet, maximum allowance is 12 square feet. We do not anticipate the granting of the variance causing harm or nuisance to adjacent property owners. However, there is a concern of the justice to the other tenants within the building. This is a multi-tenant commercial building with multiple offices and businesses located inside the building. The existing site signage is a shared ground sign with all tenants listed. If the variance is granted, this applicant would be the only one of several tenants to have a business sign displayed on the face of the building. Therefore, at this size, therefore, if the variance is granted, it may set a precedent that might lead other tenants to request the same. The need for variance is due to unique circumstances peculiar to the property and not generally applicable in the area or to other properties in the same zoning district. The variance requested is due to some unique circumstances to the property. Since there is no public entrance on the south side of the building, no sign would be allowed to be placed there, which is a missed opportunity for advertising the business within the building. The regulations are specific for multi-tenant commercial non-residential uses. While the building is large and provided signage may be small in nature, the board should consider the precedent granting the variance would set. The problem and resulting need for the variance has been created by strict compliance with the zoning ordinance and not by the applicant or applicant's predecessors. It is not self-created. The need for the variance is not self-created by the applicant. However, strict compliance with the ordinance is possible without the granting of the variance. And then finally, granting the variance will not impair the public health, safety, comfort, or welfare of the inhabitants of Lake Orion, which we believe would not impair public health, safety, comfort, welfare, or the inhabitants of the village. Based on the findings, our recommendation would be to deny the variance as requested based on the following findings of fact. The current regulations do not unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose. The requested variance is not the minimum necessary to provide relief. The applicant has not demonstrated that hardship has not been self-created, and the granting of the variance may set a precedent.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll have the presentation by the presenter. Or by the
Petitioner,
applicant.
the applicant petitioner.
Boy, this is gonna be quick.
Nobody.
The applicant here?
All right, seeing the applicant not here, we will move on to, recommend, well, we had the recommendation.
But before we do that, there's a couple things I want to bring up about this.
Sure.
Did we send out notification to the residents in that area about the sign going up?
This should have been done by the village staff.
Okay. Just a note that came after the sign was already up.
That's correct, yes. The sign was erected without any approval or permit.
Okay.
The sign should not have been installed.
There is a sign on the north side of the building for the financial guy, which is smaller. Looking at the sign in the space that it's in, while it doesn't match anything, it makes a good balance for what's happening on that side of the building.
All right. We've had our recommendation by the planner. Next, we'll do board deliberation in action.
I want to ask the planner something first. This is the very first time in almost 12 years that I've not had an applicant show up to the meeting. At this point, do we actually table it? Or do we go through with the deliberation and basically vote no?
That is a decision the board can make. I don't have an answer as to why the petitioner is not here.
Okay.
Another question, can we fine them for putting the sign up?
That was my next question. Good question.
So the village's code enforcement officer has been made aware of the sign being installed without approval or permits.
Okay. Penalty for the sign.
What?
A penalty for the sign.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Okay. Okay. More deliberation?
Yeah.
Truthfully, I actually like the sign. It just upsets me that the person who put in the petition is not here.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with you.
If we could please make sure deliberation's done in the microphones.
Oh, no problem then. Move them all down. And that's why I was asking, what do we do at this point? Because I've never not had a petitioner show up. Because in this case, I actually like the look of the sign. I know that our sign law is written for a lot of these smaller downtown businesses, and something that large on M24 probably does warrant a larger sign, as it's three and a half stories high.
Three-story.
Yeah, so it's up there quite a ways, and to actually see the signage, we'd probably have to change our zoning law to write a deviation for over a size of a building or a height of a building, so people can actually see it. 12 square feet is one of these small signs on the side of the building, or a monument out in front. So I would be apt to vote yes on this and let them keep the sign, but at the same time, not so cheery about the applicant not being here. So, and I don't know how we rectify that with giving them a penalty, making them take down their sign until they come in front of this board. And that's what I don't know.
I would turn that over to the village planner.
I know you're writing like crazy.
You're wanting to table this until the applicant
I-
comes?
I think we ought to leave the sign and have them pay a penalty for putting that sign up.
Is that something we can mandate?
I think in this case, you would vote to approve the requested variance. I don't know that you have, as this board, I don't know that you have the authority to.
I don't know, we've never done it before. Or at least since I've been on the board, we haven't done it.
Me either. I've been here quite a while.
I've been here longer, we've never, that I know of, since I've been on, we haven't done it.
We make a motion to table this until you find out what we can do? Or should we just vote no on it and take the sign down? Your recommendation?
Your authority is whether or not to grant or deny the
And that's
variance
it.
request. Yeah, you don't have authority to.
Okay, thank you. If it's a yes, no, I got my answer.
Yeah, like you said, I think it shows up well. I don't think it looks horrible. It gets some visibility to businesses along there. But at the same time, if they can't even be bothered to come in and talk about it.
Pardon me, this is another question for the planner. If we deny it today, they cannot reapply for 1 year, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You know, I think I'm with you. I
That's
think
over.
we should table it and have them come in and talk to us.
Yeah? Okay.
Because otherwise, we're going to deny it.
Yeah, we're
If
gonna
we
deny
deny it, they got to take it down, can't do anything for a year.
it. Correct.
Well, if you table it, I don't know how quickly I don't know the exact process for the code enforcement but it has been unlawfully installed.
We agree.
So
Absolutely
with
agree.
code enforcement, the intent would be to have that.
Okay. So the penalized would be taking it down for a year until they can reapply.
Yeah, that is an option.
That's a heck of a penalty. Okay.
I don't want you to act in a way that, with the intent to penalize the applicant. That's not the purpose of this board.
Okay, great. At the same time, if we follow the intent of the law as it's currently written. But, okay. Thoughts, questions, comments? You want to make a motion to table it, or you want to move forward? What do you feel like?
I feel like we should bring him in and talk to him.
So we should table it. Thoughts, guys?
Yeah. Oh, is the plan,
So I wouldn't recommend postponing action.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I would not recommend postponing action. I believe the board should make a decision on whether or not to approve or deny based on the information and findings of fact.
well, I guess I feel that, I believe there's, we're rewarding them for not following the ordinances because we happen to like how that works. But somebody else that doesn't follow the ordinance and doesn't want to make them take it down.
Correct. That's
So it
exactly the
should,
same.
so we should take the we like it, we don't like it out of it and just look at strictly at the ordinances. Did they follow the ordinances? Did they have every opportunity? Were they invited to the meeting? And did they choose to ignore it? That's fine. They can do that if they want. But as much as I think it looks good and adds to it, I struggle to, and like you're saying, sort of reward them for, you know, I don't want to look at it as reward. It's, did they follow the ordinance or did they not?
I agree. Any thoughts?
I do like the look of it, but I agree with the planner that they didn't, they could have met the, ordinance, and they could have put something on the, I believe there's a sign, a ground sign, monument sign. They could have done that. Punishing them is not something that I want to do, and I'm not, if I were to deny this, it's because they didn't follow the ordinance, not because of anything else.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is, they knew it didn't meet the ordinance,
Yeah.
Obviously,
and they built it anyway.
yeah. Okay.
And maybe they had some good reason to do it, but they're not sharing it with the
Yes.
village.
Not sharing it with the team. Okay. That'll be fine. What page is the proposed motion?
I got it.
You got it?
Then I'll make the motion to, motion for denial for case 8-26-03, requested, dimensional variance for signage, with the findings of fact as listed in the McKenna letter, and that this decision, this denial does not set a precedence for, any other case.
Good. I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor?
That'll be a roll call, Mr.
No,
Chair.
roll call, sorry.
Matheson,
Yes.
Loriant,
Yes.
Putz,
Yes,
Balo.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay. Next item is public hearing on case A-26-004, 96 Park Island Road, dimensional variance request. Public hearing, so I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing for 96 Park Island.
Motion to open the public hearing for A26-004, 96 Park Island Road.
I'll support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, public comment for 96, come on up, 3 minutes, state your name.
And where you live.
Yeah, my name is Drew Ciora. I live at 112 Park Island Drive, 2 houses down from 96 Park Island Drive. You know, my wife and I are in big support of this project. Everyone we've spoken to on our street feels the same way. It by no means is going to have any impact on anybody else. And I know that they've hired professionals to get this done right, and it's going to beautify the street and make it look even better. So we're excited about it. We hope you guys agree, but we're in full support of it. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for 96 Park? No? If not, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 96 Park Island Road.
I'd like to make a motion to close.
No support?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, the next item is A-26-004, 96 Park Island Road, dimensional variance request. Mr. Planner.
Okay, this request comes from Justin Medill on behalf of Matthew Phillips, the applicants. They are proposing 3 dimensional variances from the village's zoning ordinance, specifically section 12.04G and 13.11B2, that would allow the applicant to construct a garage and then an accessory structure within the waterfront setback of the northwestern part of the subject property. It should be noted that at least one of the variances requested may not be necessary if the subject property were to be rezoned to RL, Lake Single Family Residential, which is supported by the village's future land use plan found in the most recently adopted master plan. The Board of Zoning Appeals should consider whether multiple variances are appropriate or if the applicant should pursue rezoning of the property. A few things here. I did look into files on other properties within the same area on the same street. It does appear that similar, so they're requesting a front setback dimensional variance for the garage along with a side setback dimensional variance for the garage. Recently, the property at 104 Park Island had requested the same side setback variance, and I believe that was approved in 2019. Additionally, and I could not find confirmation if it was approved or not, but the property at 112 Park Island had requested a waterfront setback variance to construct, I believe, a pergola. Again, I couldn't find confirmation on whether or not that was approved or not. Just want to make this aware because seems to be a reoccurring issue for the properties located along the street because I believe they are zoned inappropriately. I believe they should be zoned single family. I believe the township master plan supports that. So just setting the table there. But the subject lot is occupied, again, by a single-family residential residence, currently zoned, again, multifamily. I provided an aerial for that. I do want to compliment Design House on their application and the information provided. If you can see in the renderings, demonstrates that almost every property located along the western side of Park Island Drive is non-conforming to the side yard setbacks, and then I believe maybe 5 out of 8 of those are encroaching on the front yard setback as well. So I believe there is a pattern of design or build history there that would support at least the front yard setback variance. In terms of the accessory structure that is proposed for the rear yard, or what would be the waterfront yard if zoned RL, the applicant, based on what was provided in the concept plan, it is just an accessory structure proposed at 360-ish square feet. It should be noted that if this property were to be rezoned RL, the applicant could construct a boathouse up to 480 square feet and not have to meet those same waterfront setback regulations.
I don't think there's any boathouses allowed anymore.
No?
It's currently still within the ordinance.
I remember voting on that quite some time ago. If they have a boathouse there, they can redo it. But I remember us voting that no new boathouses on the lake.
Okay.
So just let's check on that. I could be wrong.
Is that
I
the
can
planning
pull that
committee?
information.
What?
But
Is that part of planning?
Yeah.
Planning committee?
I apologize. I'm going to pull this up to confirm right now.
Understood. That's what I was thinking too, there's no boathouses allowed.
No, I know we've turned down boathouses
Yes, I know we have to.
in planning.
Yeah.
The last boathouse we okayed was Christopher Grobel's, because it was already a boathouse, and he was just redoing it.
Yeah.
Section 1311D3 allows one single boathouse or one permanent boat hoist larger than 8 feet in height, capable of hoisting more than one boat at a time. A seasonal boat hoist may be permitted per lot. The boathouse or boat hoist may not be greater than 14 feet in height at the peak of its roof, may not contain any plumbing facilities except hot or cold running water, may not be used for either temporary or permanent sleeping or living quarters, may not be used for commercial purposes, may not be greater than 480 square feet in water surface area, may not be located closer than 5 feet to the nearest side lot line, may not unreasonably impair the view and use of the lake by neighboring property owners, must be constructed in compliance with zoning compliance or building permit and state and federal permit requirements.
Is it more than 480 feet on the water?
Okay?
That's fine with
So, whatever happened to planning didn't go any further, apparently.
no, or it's in that master plan, it's supposed to happen,
Yeah.
probably is.
Anyway, so
Okay, perfect, thank you.
based on the current setbacks of the RM district for single-family dwellings, the front setback would be 25 feet, the side is 10 feet each, and then the rear setback is 25 feet. If this were to be rezoned, the side setbacks would be 5 feet each, which is exactly what they're proposing for the side yard setback. So the determination by the Board of Zoning Appeals would be whether or not the applicant should go through a rezoning process first and exhaust all available options, or if you are comfortable with the multiple variances being requested, if you feel that requiring the applicant to go through that additional process is overly burdensome, that is all up for the board to determine. But in regards to the standards for approval, the first being strict compliance with the restrictions, unreasonably preventing the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose. The applicant has provided a graphic demonstrating that most of the, I already spoke to this, but most of the properties along the western side of Park Island Drive encroach the front yard setback, or in some cases even the right-of-way. Additionally, almost every property along that western side of Park Island is non-conforming to the side setbacks as they currently are. It also should be noted that the ordinance details procedures on how the zoning administrator can determine an established front setback line by calculating the average of front setbacks of the adjacent buildings. And I bring that up because I just mentioned 5 out of the 8 properties or so are encroaching on that front setback line.
I think the garage is less of an issue.
Yeah,
The garage is less of an issue. I mean, these are all bundled together.
They are all bundled together, yes, sorry.
But the garage.
So that is,
seems
that,
to me-
so kind of taking these one by one, but
okay,
bear with me here, this is probably going to be a long one. So that is something the BZA may use when determining whether or not the proposed location of the garage within the front setback is appropriate or inconsistent with the surrounding properties. Again, I believe that there is a pattern of
It's very consistent.
build design, yes, consistent. The applicant is also proposing a 5-foot Side yard setback, again, this would not be necessary if it were rezoned. And then regarding the rear waterfront setback, the applicant is requesting to improve what has historically been on the property. Again, if the property were to be rezoned, they would be able to construct a larger accessory structure without the same restrictions.
You got that tall.
However, the applicant has confirmed that the structure will not be a boathouse, which would require the applicant to meet a 25-foot setback. I have had additional conversations with the applicant's architects.
Actually, I don't think.
There is the potential to redesign that accessory structure to truly meet what a boathouse would be should rezoning be necessary based on the decision of this board. In regard to the variance providing substantial justice to the applicant as well as the neighboring property owners, you will find multiple letters of support provided by the applicant from their neighbors. You've also heard another neighbor speak on behalf of this, but based on what has been the building pattern located on the western side of Park Island Drive, the master plan's future land use map, both the front and side yard setbacks could be viewed as appropriate and provide substantial justice to the property owner. It is our understanding that the neighboring properties that abut the subject parcel intend to be in attendance tonight and have expressed no concern with the proposed location of the accessory structure that would encroach on the rear waterfront setback. C, that the variance is the minimum variance needed to provide substantial relief to the applicant. Now, it's unclear whether the front yard setback is the minimum needed. However, based on the property's nonconformance already, it is already encroaching on that front yard setback. There is no other place they would be able to construct a garage. The side yard variance is not the minimum necessary, as the applicant could request the property be rezoned as RL Lake Single Family Residential, which is supported by the master plan. Sorry, I know it's very repetitive here, but this is.
Go ahead.
And then it is unclear to the rear waterfront yard variance request being the minimum needed. If the property were to be rezoned, the applicant could construct an alternative accessory structure or boathouse. However, that is not what the applicant is intending. The applicant is proposing an accessory structure on top of a slab foundation. So the BZA should consider all information and public feedback from the meeting to determine the necessity in relation to minimum relief.
You just said something there. It's going to sit on a slab, or it's going to be a boathouse?
It is currently a slab foundation.
It's currently a slab.
Yes, and historically,
Right on the lake?
yes.
Okay.
And historically, an accessory structure was on that, based on the initial concept that I received and provided to each of you.
This one right here.
It is, it would be up to the Board of Zoning Appeals to determine if that would meet your interpretation of what a boathouse is. And like I've said, they've also created some new concepts for that.
Get over there.
The next item is that the need for the variance is due to unique circumstances peculiar to the property. Currently, the majority of the properties located on the western side of Park Island Drive are non-conforming or have been granted a variance to exist with the current setbacks. Additionally, there's not a single property along the stretch of Park Island Drive that conforms to the side yard setbacks, meaning they are either legally non-conforming or were granted a variance due to historic placements and build patterns. The rear setback variance request is unique in nature because the variance would not be necessary if it were zoned RL Single Family Residential and the structure proposed was a boathouse. So again, the board will need to determine whether that's a unique circumstance to justify the variance. E, The need for the variance has been created by strict compliance with the zoning ordinance and not self-created. Considering that every dwelling structure on the street is non-conforming to current side yard setback standards, and most dwelling structures are non-conforming to the front yard setbacks, the need for the variance has not been self-created. Additionally, we believe these properties are not zoned appropriately and would recommend these properties be considered for rezoning based on the planned classification of the master plan's future land use plan. And then finally, that granting the variance will not impair public health, safety, comfort, or welfare of the inhabitants of Lake Orion. We do not expect granting the proposed variances to have any impact or impair public health, safety, comfort, or welfare for the residents. So at this time, staff recommends approval of the requested front yard setback variance. Additionally, it is the position of village administration that the applicant should request the property to be rezoned to RL Lake Single Family Residential District consistent with the master plan, as that would eliminate the need for the side yard variance request. And in regard to the rear waterfront setback, the position of the village administration is that the variance to accommodate the accessory structure should be denied. And that is based on the following findings of fact. That the front yard variance is necessary regardless of the property's zoning classification due to the existing placement. The proposed side yard setback variance is necessitated primarily by the property's current zoning classification and could be eliminated if rezoned. The master plan identifies the area for future single-family residential land use, making rezoning the more appropriate long-term mechanism for addressing dimensional standards rather than the reliance on multiple variances. Approval of the front yard variance would allow reasonable improvement of the property while maintaining consistency with the established development pattern along the drive. And the rear yard variance is not the minimum relief necessary because the applicant could pursue an alternative type of accessory structure permitted for the rear yard upon successful rezoning of the property. Now again, the BZA will need to determine whether going through the process of both variance requests and rezoning is necessary.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the petitioner.
Good evening, board members. My name is Peter Stuhlreier. I am the chief architect for Design House Architecture, 3300 Auburn Road, Auburn Hills, Michigan. I'm here representing Matt and Tiffany Phillips of 96 Park Island on this project. They approached us a little while ago with the desire to add a garage to the property. It is now their full-time residence. They've been there many years. I advised them to bring this to you, knowing the conditions that Jacob laid out so well, that the form-based area has all the front yard garages and things, so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. The question about the side yard is a question of procedure, I would assume, because with the future land use given to us for single family, that's a foregone conclusion that we would get that rezoning from multi to single, I'm assuming. So that would eliminate the side yard setback. However, procedurally for us and for just timing, it would just void the side yard variance if we got the side yard variance for multifamily and said, okay, we're back to single family. And we already have a commitment from the owners to go ahead and file for that for August to go to single family. So we think most of that street probably should be just what the master, what the future land use says it should be. And most of it already is. So with that in mind, it takes us back to the boathouse. This is a different argument back here, and it's hard to understand without really digging into the surveys that we have. This boathouse from the 70s or 80s was built on a foundation on our property, not off property on the water. So the property line actually follows it around 3 sides into the water and back. What you've stopped having allowed is boathouses that protrude into the lake and past somebody's own property line. This isn't that case at all. This property, this little tiny peninsula, 300 square foot peninsula, is their property, platted. So we're proposing is simply setting a conforming, from the building department standpoint, a conforming structure 14 feet tall on that, back on that. We think it was there based on historical aerial photos and other things. We think that house was already, that little, we call it a boathouse. If you were in the house and you were going to go down there and go to the boat, you'd say, where do you go? And they go, to the boathouse, you know.
Does the boat go inside?
It does not. It is a solid slab.
You know, I think it's tough calling it a boathouse now.
Yeah, well, maybe, I guess.
You know, it might be your lake house on your lake house.
Well, I mean, it was, yeah, we understand the other restrictions about plumbing and sleeping and other things. So it's just it's basically a Four Seasons porch in the summertime or something, and a storage for the equipment in the wintertime. But it's,
And it's all built on the slab.
yeah, just sitting on the current slab that's there.
It's a building right now.
It is not a building right now.
It's just
It's a foundation slab. It's a patio. If I could approach, I could give you the pictures.
yeah, I was looking, except this isn't here.
That's not there.
No, that's what they're proposing.
Right, we're proposing putting it back. You can see it there in the historic photos.
That's kind of what I was wondering too.
If I could add to this too, we had a conversation earlier in the week as well that even though it is on a slab, it could be constructed in a way that would have like a rolling ramp to bring a boat into it, which I have seen designs of boathouses like that. So it wouldn't necessarily be that the boat is driving in and parking within the water.
The question being is, we have single structures such as sheds need to be 3 feet off the property. We've got a boathouse here, it says the boathouse is allowed, but what is the definition of a boathouse? You have to be able to drive a boat into it, or does it have to be, you'd have to put a hoist for a jet ski in it just to call it a boathouse? Or is it just a structure?
Or is it your outdoor patio?
The definition of boathouse is an enclosed structure used for sheltering a boat and constructed over the water or over an access channel to the water, but not including commercial boat shelters. Boat is also not defined.
Boat is not defined. So if they put a roll-up door on the side of it, you could say we could store a boat there and it's just like having a garage, pretty much. Okay. That's what I was.
No, I don't think that's what you guys are doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the uniqueness is that the peninsula of land is on property. So what was the variance we were asking for? 3 feet or something to put an accessory structure that close to it?
No, it's 0.
We were going for 0, but what were we required on that back line?
I think it's 3 feet. I think it's
That is what it is.
but it's not a boathouse.
That's what I was asking.
Because there's really no, is there any boats going to go inside this property?
All the non-motorized floating boats that they own get stored in there
Okay,
all year.
Yeah,
we got it.
requested at 25 feet rear.
Oh, it's a 25-foot? So it's a crying shame that we've got this beautiful patio that was built in the 50s or something that had a building on it for whatever use they had. Maybe they had brought their boat up into it, and we want to put a shelter back on it, and the neighbors are in support, so I'm thinking.
We'll be using the existing foundation that was already there?
Yeah,
Yes.
And it's storage, not a boathouse.
storage,
You can't drive a boat into it.
not while the boat is floating in the lake, no.
You can put a kayak in it,
Sure. You can
any
pick,
of that stuff, but your pontoon boat is never going in there. I see a pontoon now.
yeah, well, it's parked next to it,
Okay.
which is where it is now. I mean, it's basically a dock.
I don't know what it is.
But the procedural question is, if it's an accessory structure, we're asking for a variance. If it's a boathouse, we're not asking for anything because it's there and it's on property. So then we got to go back to single family, and then we don't come back to zoning. That's the kink.
Wish it was a little separate.
We can make them all separate. Okay.
Oh, yeah? No, that doesn't help.
I would also add that
What are these?
the,
That's the foundation. Yeah, so it's just got it's got a platform on it, yeah.
so I would also add that the applicant has provided a different concept design from the one I provided you that extends a roof over where you see the boat in the drawing, making it more official of a,
Yeah, but he could put
There you
a
go.
hoist in there and do that anyways.
Yeah, now that, now he's got a boathouse.
I like that.
And it's under the, what is it, 480 square feet? That's funny, okay. He comes prepared, I like him. Okay. Excellent. No, we can keep it. Don't be copying that design.
And one more piece of information that shows
Mhm.
and demonstrates it.
Ah,
Not very often do they have those.
No, I don't. There's very few.
Right.
Okay.
And I would gamble that some of those
Most
aren't,
don't work.
pardon?
Most of them don't.
No, they don't last.
Right, and I bet most of those aren't on property, unlike the one we're
They're
proposing.
years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, what else you have?
Is that it?
I don't have any other questions.
I think so.
Do we have any
Do we have
questions?
any, no, I don't have any more questions. for you.
Any questions?
Do we have anybody else who wants to talk on this topic?
We had the public hearing already, but probably see if they want to come. If they will.
Well, the building's yours.
They can talk on this,
Yeah.
saying that we're into it.
Okay.
Are you all set?
Yep, I think I'm fine, yep.
Okay.
If anybody else would like to come up, make a comment on this?
No?
All right, then we'll move on to board deliberation.
It's real easy, the garage is a no-brainer. It's really easy, the garage is a no-brainer. I mean, that matches, I mean, the whole street looks like that.
Yep.
So I don't see any problem with that. I just don't know how this falls into what I know from the planning commission on, does it end up being, well, it's not a shed now that you put a boat next to it, and does it fall into boathouses? But I'm hearing that there is nothing on it, that you can't build a boathouse.
Mm-hmm. Basically, a small house next to the lake.
Right.
Yeah, correct. That's what it sounds like to me, too. On this one, I agree with the garage. I give the variance on the garage, just to make it look consistent across everything. Truthfully, I'd recommend that they just get the RL done and we do away with the side setback and with the boathouse issue, and we just sign off on the one tonight. Let them finish up with the RL later.
That could be,
I mean,
you could do that.
then it'd be done and we wouldn't have to worry
We don't
about it.
have to worry about it.
Correct. Thoughts?
I agree. I don't have a problem with the garage. And I think if we if the zoning were to change, that would help with the slab in the back.
Yeah.
That would make it easy and
Yeah.
Good.
I agree, I think changing the zoning is the best thing versus giving waivers.
Yeah, I agree. Thoughts on the motion? Should we, page 26.
the motion all tied together.
That's what I was going to say, is the motion all tied together, or can we split the motion?
Jacob?
I'm sorry?
As far as the motion, can we split it, or,
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay.
That's, you have
Then I would
multiple
like to
different
make a
options you
motion.
can pursue here.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the front yard setback from the existing 21.7 to the proposed 3.6 on case number A26004, 96 Park Island Road, 0911-252-005. So, motion's out there, I'm only gonna do the one.
what about findings of fact?
The findings of fact, we're not following the findings of fact on this one because, was this findings of fact where please approve?
I'm sorry? Yes, you
Yes.
would be in this
Okay,
case.
so you do recommend the dimensional variation, so I'd like to have the findings of fact put in there as well, according to McKinney and Associates.
I'll support. Questions? All in favor?
It would be a roll call, Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
You've got to do a roll call.
Roll, please.
Balo.
Yes?
Putz.
Yes,
Loriant.
Yes,
Matheson.
Yes.
Front yard setback is passed.
The next item on the agenda,
Nope, we're gonna do the other two. So the other two we're gonna bundle together?
yes.
Should we act on the other two at all? Would that be worse than not acting on those?
Oh, good question.
Just rescinding?
Should we table the other
You
two
could-
or send them?
So you could encourage the applicant to go through the rezoning process.
Okay.
Table it or deny it?
I think
No,
no
it's not,
action.
it's
No
not a
action.
deny. We don't
No
want to
action.
deny.
No
it.
action.
We don't-
Yeah, no action.
That puts you out of here.
Yeah, I would like no
We don't want to do that for sure.
Okay. So on the side yard setback and the rear yard setback, I'd like to make a motion.
No.
that we-
No.
No, none at all? We're just gonna dismiss it? Okay. Thank you.
So,
I guess that's it.
okay.
You're the boss.
Next item is public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What you have done looks great.
Yes, it does look nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. We'll just figure out the next steps.
It might save them some tax money too. Take care. Thanks.
All right, the next item is public hearing for case number A-26-005, 301 Park Avenue, dimensional variance request. And this is a public hearing, so I will ask a motion to open the public hearing.
I second. Yeah, second. Both of us.
We have a motion, and all in favor?
All right.
Aye. The public hearing is open. Anybody wishing to come up, state your name, 3 minutes.
And where you live?
So I've got a couple pictures, and I am the affected neighbor directly to this lot line. So I've got it down to like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I believe.
Could you state your name, please, sir?
Yes. Jason Verberge at 305 Park Avenue, direct proximity neighbor to 301. And for substantial justice, so this is what Jacob recommended in his packet, that either you go for or against the substantial justice. I'd like to provide valid factual details that invalidate all 6 aspects of the substantial justice. So for number 1, currently and since 2016, the applicant has rented out the house 3 to 4 times with the future son-in-law in there currently, with minimal to, if any, time in between tenants, and the house has been reasonably occupied and used for decades prior to that with no issues. So number 1 is invalidated. For number 2, I have actually hired probably more than the applicant has builders. I paid for renderings, which I'll show you on the other side. I provided committee pages, and you got all my comments in there. I don't want to go over all those, but there's a lot of detail in there that I paid people to validate as professionals. And these include watershed and erosion. So per Peach Building and Architect, the arc angle of rain when it falls from a second story is 122% approximately greater than if it falls just from the single story shown right here. So this would fall, if it's a second story, it would fall greater right onto our grass, eroding our entire lawn right there. Trespassing, there's no possible way, being 3 inches away from our property, that any workers, equipment, nails, screws, or anything could be done without being on our property, whether it's actual trespassing or aerial trespassing. Not even physically possible to install the silt fence or safety fence, because if you look in between where their basement wall goes down, our stone wall goes up, so it's literally like this far apart. So there's not even any potential for any silt or safety fence that would alleviate nails from going into my dog and my kids' feet, things of that nature. Privacy, when the second story looks up, and I'll show you this, you can see the rendering that we paid for. This is actually from my living room, so the privacy would be both.
Say that again, where's that from?
I'm sorry, this is the second story rendering, this is current, okay? So
Okay.
this is the single story now, that's the
Yeah.
second story,
Yeah.
okay? So they would look directly into my living room, and then right next to my living room is directly my bedroom. Their windows would look directly in there. So I was asked to state the Michigan statute of loss of reasonable privacy that exists between homes currently. That would be excluded. And then fire risk. I tried to reach out to the Lake Orion Fire Marshal. He said he has to be unbiased because he does comment on part of this. So I reached out to Southfield Fire Marshal, who I knew through another neighbor. And he looked at all the pictures and he said, this space is just too tight and it promotes fire spread. You'll see here on the water view that the renderings that I paid for here again show loss of view up by about 50%. So this entire section right here, I would totally lose 50% of my view of the water. And I would like to comment that on the last denial on 471 Algene that occurred between May and June, the recommendation from Jacob, and this is something we wholeheartedly agree with, is that granting the variance could result in risk to future property owners' waterfront views. He goes on to be more specific, saying approving the request could lead to additional requests which will impact the waterfront views for neighbors along with the character of the district. And then he finalizes it by saying the board should affirm protecting waterfront views and district character. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I don't want my valuable property 50% diminished because the whole house is sitting in front of it. So that invalidates all of number 2. Number 3, this is not the minimum necessary. The applicant could easily create a design that's 5 foot inward, build something that is at least 5 foot variance away. But however, I will show that with the renderings, that could still take up to 40% of my view away, even if you did something within any second story of this structure. And I'll stand on Jacob's comments there again, that we should affirm the waterfront views for our RL district. And this is why we bought this house. So that invalidates number 3. Number 4, these zoning laws have been in place for a long time, and the applicant was aware of these during the purchase in 2016. He and his family have multiple other properties on the lake, so this is no surprise to him. He bought it knowing this was tight, so this invalidates number 4. Number 5, first, the applicant has actually generated a self-created issue with the side setback of this same lot line already. He just recently constructed a shed that's 12 inches away from my fence with no permit and no variance before this committee. And I was informed that the code enforcement person is a friend of the current tenants. That's why they kind of like snuck this through. I wasn't going to say anything, but now that there's a request for variance to build and block my view, I'm bringing it to the attention of everyone. Second, the applicant has stated hardship due to the lot being split. This is false. I've actually sent the email from the supervisor and the senior mapping agent of the Oakland County deeds to Jacob, and he actually wrote the packet recommendation for you. But she goes back all the way to 1891 when the original plat was signed in the state of Michigan. That showed the lot lines then, so there was no split, and she said there's absolutely no evidence of the property ever being split. So he put that in as a hardship on the application to show some sort of hardship, but there was never any split of the properties. I bought the property knowing his house was close. He bought the property knowing that our house was close. Number 6, I hope you've seen in all the detailed and factual information by the builders that I've submitted and demonstrated that all the professionals that we hired and spoke with, that number 6 is invalidated because there's, when I talk about public safety, comfort, welfare of the inhabitants, me being one of them, there's watershed. My property is going to erode with the water coming down, whether it's ice or extended rain outside of the gutters. Privacy, looking directly into my living room. Trespassing, aerial trespassing, negative water view impact, fire safety, and potential damage and loss of property. I don't want any of that to happen to my property. It's too close to build, and I'm showing that hopefully this evidence has invalidated not just one, but all 6 of the aspects around substantial justice to us as neighbors. So I would like to thank you for your consideration to deny this variance request. Thank you. And if you want to see any of these pictures, I can show them on both. So this is 301, his house, and this is how close the house is, with the blue line being the lot line. And my fence structure, my upper patio, so even if they build right here in the northeast corner, it would be literally like this far away from my patio. That's why the fire marshal said it's too close to construct, it would cause watershed. This is from the lakeside view, so this is all my stone wall, all my structure here with the trellis and everything. This is his wall. You can see that barely a gutter fits in between the 2 walls in the property. I mean, there's no way that a builder, if there's a ladder erected to work on shingles or gutters or roof of any sort, it would have to be extended way up here, coming down on my property. There's no way around it. So that's what I'd like to share if anyone wants to see anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question on a little.
Yeah,
So where your house is,
my house. So I'm right here. You can't really see my house in that picture. Here you can. There's my lot. You can see my deck. I'm taking this from the inside of my living room. So that's how close this would be. So they would look right into me, whether it's side or back, look right into my living room, and then right next to me over here is my bedroom.
okay, and then,
But you can see this is like, here's Chris's boathouse. I would lose this entire half of my lake view.
yeah, that's
It's
an
very
issue.
substantial.
It's an issue a lot of people have because the way things are written,
Yeah.
somebody owns that, and basically, if we don't have ordinances that talk to, that stop people from building, because I watch it all the time, so really,
Well, the 471 was just denied in May, and if you remember, that was the simple patio. It was going to stay on a single structure, one single level in front of the house. They were going to turn the patio into an enclosed sunroom. The recommendation by Jacob, and you guys denied it, due to the fact that it would, just that extension of a full home or a full room being enclosed would interrupt the view of the
No,
neighbor's
it didn't
house.
pass the ordinance. It didn't pass the ordinance, because we have allowed people to construct in front of my bedroom window, in front of my deck. We don't care about
Yes,
this.
but I'm showing hopefully 6 attributes of the substantial
Yeah.
justice that impact my property value and why we bought this property. This is
Absolutely.
our fire house. My wife is going to come up and speak a little bit to that in a second too. I'll leave this up there in case you want to see it.
Thank you.
Come on up, 3 minutes, state your name, your address.
Good evening, my name is Christy Schiller, and as my husband stated, I also live at 305 Park Avenue. I'm asking for the board to deny the variance on all the points my husband made, but I'd like to add a few of my own. So to start, due to the fact that we were given absolutely zero detail except for the few handwritten sentences in the application, I asked my sister to come over and assess the situation. She is the owner of Hill & Homes, which is a custom home building company out of Birmingham, so she works in very small areas, Royal Oak, Birmingham, Hazel Park. She is also an attorney. Her professional experience is that she believes it is not possible to build the proposed second-story addition in the 3 to 6 inches between our houses for a lot of the reasons that my husband stated, without placing ladders or scaffolding on or over our property. We have not been approached nor asked if we would ever allow that, to which we would not grant permission to our property. So again, her point is, how is it even physically possible as a builder? She said it wouldn't be. She said none of the cities that she builds in would allow something in such close proximity. She said specifically siding, installation, roof framing, overhangs, and exterior finishing would, impede our property. It would ruin, and they would need our property to build it. Next, as my husband stated, we purchased this in 2019 as our lake house for retirement, which we just retired 1 year ago, and we're enjoying our lake views. And to be fair, the entire reason we bought the property was for the lake view. That's why we had a house in Rochester. We wanted to be looking at the lake while, we were enjoying it. Again, 50 to 75% of that view, depending on how you look at it, would be taken away, and we would be then looking just at the siding of a house. At that point, we might as well just have stayed in Rochester. So, it would also, not just the view, it would reduce the home value. People want a lake house so they can see the lake. So for us, it encroaches on both our view and it encroaches on the value of our home, which we have in a trust to leave to our children. So for them, it reduced the ability to sell and or make the appropriate money. And again, we talked about the no unreasonable living. They've had tenants who have lived there with large dogs. Some have lived there as long as 4 years and enjoyed the property. So what they're asking for is not, it's a want, it's not a need. And it's a self-created convenience, not a hardship. So when looking at it, it is not a hardship. They're creating a self-created convenience. And then lastly, safety for us. We spend a majority of our time in our backyard with our dogs, our children. We entertain all of the time. So from a safety perspective, being so close together, that would take that away from us during the build while it was going on. And then any long-term maintenance, if they needed a roof repair, they had to repair shingles. For the foreseeable future, it would be work being done in our yard. And, we would have the problem of it, potentially hurting somebody on our property, our dogs, or ourselves for that matter. So again, I respectfully ask for you to deny. And again, thank you for your time.
Wait, one quick question for you.
Yes.
The house next door, is that a rental property?
Yes.
Now, do you have access to the lake?
Correct. We have stairs that go down to the lake, yes.
And then how much lakefront is it?
We have 20 feet of lakefront.
20 feet?
It's not very big. It's on page 59.
That's on the plat that I sent you from 1891 too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on here.
Yeah, we,
Very last page of my,
I know they just look so close together.
it is.
yes.
Can you fix your roof without going on there?
Yes, our house, it does not encroach on any of the lot lines.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment on this public hearing?
I don't know if it's time for me to get up and speak or not. I'm Paul Tracy. I'm the owner of 301. Firstly, a couple of things I just want to say real quick. It's not a rental property. My daughter lives there with her fiance right now. Some of the things that were mentioned earlier is talk about a hardship case. The hardship case, it was built in 1935, and there's 560 square feet in that house. 560 square feet, there's not a closet on the first floor. So basically, you use the basement as a closet. There's no access to get down to that basement from inside the house. You go outside. So just think of yourself trying to go downstairs, get a pair of clothes or anything you want during midwinter. You got to go outside of the house, downstairs, and go down and get your clothes and bring them back up. So it's not a hardship case for other reasons, but that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to put a second floor on there. Now, my second floor that I was talking about is going straight up off the existing template. and I'm not sure what kind of pictures Jason or them showed over here, but between, if you're just talking about code from lake to house setting back, our house, 301, is 43 feet from the lake. Their house is 17 more feet from the back of my house. So theirs is 88 feet from the lake. So from a code issue there of being closest to the lake within your 25-foot minimum, there's not an issue there. If you're going straight up on a house, I'm well aware of the 30-foot maximum house. We wouldn't even approach that at all. When you talk about, going down access that they have to get down to the lake right now, if I really wanted to, the stairs going down to the lake, half of those all the way down to the lake are on my property. Stairs going in their backyard are on my property. You talk about being a loosey lot line. How that ever got there, I have no idea. Maybe it was a property split at one time. That's the only way I could figure it out. Because if you look at that lot line, there is only 2 feet between their house and mine, and so on and so forth. But it's not between a house. Their house sits way further back. And I think half the view they're talking about when they look at a lake is overlooking my house. So I would encourage that if you went to go buy a house like that, take a look at all the aspects of your current neighbors that one day they might build up and take some of your access of overlooking the lake out. But being at their house is that far back, I can't help any of that. They got plenty of access. They got 20 feet. I got 20 feet to the lake going straight down. On the other side of their house, they have a construction over there exactly like the one I'm looking to do. Second story. Sits way out further than their current house. So looking in somebody's windows or something like that, I don't know if there's a code for that or not, but I wouldn't even take that into effect of any of this kind of stuff at all. I will go strictly by code. And the codes are, their house is 17 feet from my house. It sits 17 feet back. Okay, that's just plain fact. And this house is 43 feet from the lake. So using the existing template going straight up, even if you want to talk about water shedding conditions, it currently is what it is. So if the water goes one more story up, it's not going to act any different coming down. And furthermore, if you want to argue about watershed conditions, half of their house gets watershed off the driveway onto my lot. So, but I'm not here to talk about that today. So the bottom line, I'm just looking to use the existing template and go straight up another 560 square feet. Any questions?
No?
And like I said, the reason is, if you go in a 560 square feet, it's from here to that wall.
Well, that's what I'm looking at, 20 feet, and then.
And have somebody
how
live
much
there.
it is at the
It's a
front.
small living room, small kitchen, small bathroom, and a bedroom that fits just a bed in it, not even a dresser. And I've talked to a few builders already. There's ample room to build a house like that, according to them, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. Anybody else for public hearing like to come up?
I'm just going to grab my picture, but Paul stated it was a pure fact that he was 17 feet away.
Yep.
This is my end of my patio.
Yep.
That's the corner of their house.
Yep.
It's about 4 feet. In one of my pictures, I actually show you with my arms out, and it's 4 feet. It's not 17 feet.
I'm not talking about patio to house. I'm talking about from house to house.
My patio is part of my house, and it's 6 feet out from my.
All right.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Place for that. Thank you. All right. If no other public hearing comments, I will
Have to go to the planner.
close the public hearing.
Oh, okay.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion in support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. All right. Presentation by the planner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also like to thank both the applicant and the neighbor for providing information. There are a couple things I do want to address, most specifically 471 Algene. Just want to point out that though both of these requests involved variances and waterfront view, they are not directly comparable. In the case of 471 Algene, the proposal would have expanded the structure's existing nonconformity by extending the development closer to the waterfront setback, whereas the proposal at 301 Park Avenue does not increase the building footprint or further encroach into the setback area. That is worth pointing out. Anyways, so the request for 301 Park Avenue was submitted by Paul Tracy, the applicant. He is seeking a variance from the zoning ordinance section 1704B. This would be to expand a non-conforming structure in order to construct a second-story addition to the home. This is currently occupied by a single-family residence. It is located in the RL Single Family Residential District. The proposed addition would not exceed the zoning ordinance height limit of 30 feet. The existing dwelling is currently non-conforming due to side yard setback regulations, lot width, minimum lot area, and minimum floor area. The survey provided indicates that the current dwelling is 570 square feet, which is below the 900 square foot requirement. And so I will also go into the standards for approval. Strict compliance with restrictions will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose, or will render the ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. And so the applicant is proposing only to build upward and will not expand or increase the nonconformity in any other way. The increase in livable floor area brings the subject structure further into compliance with the zoning ordinance requirements. Again, a big distinguishing factor when comparing to 471 Algene. The variance will provide substantial justice to the applicant as well as the neighboring property owners. This, I believe, is what the entire decision is going to hinge on, is what the Board of Zoning Appeals determines as substantial justice for the applicant and the neighboring property. I do want to point out, again, thank you to Jason. In the third paragraph of my response under section B, I did flip-flop the addresses. The applicant is 301, the adjacent property is 305. Just want to point that out. Whether granting the variance would provide substantial justice to both the applicant and neighboring property owners as discretionary is a discretionary determination to be made by the Zoning Board of Appeals based on the evidence presented and the applicable variance standards. Approval of the request would allow the applicant to expand the existing dwelling vertically while maintaining the existing building footprint and would not increase the degree of the existing side setback encroachment. Correspondence from the adjacent property owner at 305 Park Avenue has been included in the meeting packet for the board's consideration. The correspondence raises concerns regarding trespassing, aerial encroachment, privacy, potential property damage, erosion, stormwater drainage, and fire safety. And not to downplay those concerns, I think those are valid concerns for the neighboring property owner to have. But several of those matters, including compliance with the building and fire code, stormwater management, soil erosion control, are addressed through separate permitting and regulatory processes rather than through variance review at the Board of Zoning Appeals. Staff notes that both the applicant's property, 301 Park Avenue, and the adjacent property owner, 305 Park Avenue, contain dwellings that encroach into the required side setbacks. This is demonstrated by the stamped survey provided by the applicant. You can see both are within the required side setbacks. And it even appears that the neighbor at 305's deck may be placed on or immediately adjacent to the property line. So based on the available records, these encroachments result from the age and placement of the structures, which predate the village's current zoning regulations. The board should consider the evidence presented and determine whether the requested variance would provide substantial justice to the applicant while avoiding unreasonable impacts to the neighboring properties. C, the variance requested is the minimum variance needed to provide substantial relief to the applicant and/or be consistent with justice to other property owners. The applicant is requesting the minimum variance needed to proceed and is proposing only to build vertically and within the 30-foot height requirement of the zoning ordinance. There will be no changes made to the footprint of the structure, so nonconformity of the structure will not be expanded. Many properties within the village are located on nonconforming lots due to the nature of being a waterfront community. If this property were located on a larger parcel, there would be no issue with the height at which the applicant is proposing. We recommend the Board of Zoning Appeals and Planning Commission review this section of the ordinance for consideration of amendment. D, the need for variance is due to unique circumstances peculiar to the property. Based on the available property records and the original plat, staff has determined that the need for the requested variance is not the result of a division of property as indicated by the applicant's statement. Rather, the existing dwelling predates the adoption of current zoning regulations and associated setback requirements. The structure is therefore legally non-conforming with respect to the applicable setbacks. The board must determine whether the need for the variance arises from unique circumstances peculiar to the property rather than the conditions generally applicable to other properties within the zoning district. In making this determination, the board may consider the age and existing placement of the dwelling, the property's dimensions and configuration, and any other site-specific characteristics relevant to the requested variance. E, the need for the variance has been created by strict compliance with the zoning ordinance and that it is not self-created by the applicant or the applicant's predecessors. Based on the available information, the need for the requested variance appears to be a result from the location of the existing dwelling, which predates the current zoning regulations and setback requirements, rather than from action taken from the current property owner or their predecessors. The proposed addition would be constructed vertically within the existing building footprint and would not further increase the existing setback encroachments. F, will not impair public health, safety, comfort, or welfare of the inhabitants. Because the proposed addition would be constructed within the existing building footprint, the request would not increase the degree of the existing setback encroachments. Based on the information submitted, staff has not identified evidence that granting the request variance would impair the public health, safety, or comfort or welfare of inhabitants of Lake Orion. Correspondence from the adjacent property owner has been included in the meeting packet for the board's consideration. The correspondence again raises concern regarding privacy, trespassing, aerial encroachment, potential property damage, erosion, stormwater drainage, and fire safety. And as previously discussed, several of these matters are addressed through separate permitting, code enforcement, other regulatory processes rather than through the variance review. The onus would be, if granted, the onus would be on the applicant to comply with the applicable laws, property boundaries, permitting requirements, and necessary agreements with adjacent property owners. So the board should consider any relevant evidence presented in determining whether the requested variance would adversely affect the public health, safety, comfort, or welfare. Now, again, as I stated, I believe the decision entirely hinges upon substantial justice to the applicant and the neighboring properties. So I have provided you with two recommendations. In the event that you move to approve the variance and in the event that you move to deny the variance. And I've listed the reasons for those, and I would turn over the remainder of my time to the applicant. unless there are questions.
Thank you.
I don't know that I understand exactly what the variance they're asking for is. I'm struggling with that piece.
So because it is a non-conforming structure, it would require a variance in order to vertically expand.
Okay.
And it is a non-conforming structure because of minimum lot width, side setbacks, minimum floor area, and one more.
But it's not asking.
Lot width.
But it's not asking for additional.
I'm sorry?
There's not additional variance, it's still being built.
It is solely to
Solely
construct
going on.
vertically.
Okay.
Okay,
Next, all they're doing is going straight up.
Just a sec. All right, we'll go out of order a little bit on this. Public comment?
Yes, please. Can I speak?
All right.
Let me close it down.
Yes, my name is Edwarda Crane, and I live at 589 Central Drive, across the street from these two properties. And I don't have a stake in one way or the other, but I want you to know that I do have experience with this, and I feel like it's opening a can of worms. I grew up here in Michigan. I've lived in the village for 15 years, but before that, I lived in Seattle for 30 years. And I saw the small dwellings put in the backyard, mother-in-law homes. They were on existing property. That was when we were living there. Since then, I've been back in the last 3 years. You don't even have to file a variance. If you live in a house and you don't like that house anymore, you can tear it down with no variance and build a 6-unit apartment building on the same lot. No variances. So where are we going with this? We want to protect our property values. We want to protect not just our lakefront, but how we live in Oakland County. And if we open the door to not even thinking about variances in the future, because this could be the marker, where are we going? What are we going to do when that eventually happens? I see the houses in Seattle that are built, or that we used to see in our neighborhood, and they're all 3 stories, 4-story apartment buildings. And it impacts the life of Seattleites, and it's everywhere. It's not, maybe it's new to Oakland County, but it's not new across the country. So I'd ask you to think carefully about opening the door and just ignoring the possibilities of what will happen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for indulging a little break. Next, we'll hear from the petitioner.
Well, that was me.
Yes, that's you.
Okay.
Or your builder.
No, I haven't got a builder yet. As I stated earlier, I'm not looking to put a 3, 4, 6-story building up here. I'm trying to work with the existing structure and just put a second floor straight up. All the conditions that were talked about earlier, as far as weather conditions or that, the lot currently sees that, the way the roof is right now. So I'm not adding any more that would negatively affect from a water standpoint, I don't think. From a sight line standpoint, my house currently sits down. I think as some of those pictures might have showed. Jason's house is further back than the pictures show. So I don't see where there's a concern about house to house where you're a couple feet away. The biggest thing here is on the vacancy of 305 right next to my house. The lot line is such that there's a 2-foot and a 2-foot section. That's it. But as far as even one of the board members here, Ray, asked earlier, the variance I'm looking for is not to exceed anything or add to anything. It's just to build up off an existing structure that right now does not meet a few of the variances based on it was built in 1935, and I don't even think they had lot lines then. I mean, and again, if you want to talk about the lot lines, the lot line currently zigzags right on over 305 stairs in the front going down to the lake. It goes right over the stairs in the back of 305's property. So in essence, you wouldn't even have stairs to get down on either side if I really wanted to go about it that way. Like I said, I'm not here to talk about it. I'm just looking to add a second floor in order to give some room versus to have a cubby hole of a place to live in for a bedroom. Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Okay. Do we need to,
Can I ask one more question?
okay.
Would you mind asking the applicant if from 2016 to 2023, if this was a rental or not? He said this is not a rental.
I don't think that has anything to do with us.
It doesn't matter to us.
Just goes with the truth of this presentation, I guess, so.
We have no intention of leaving our household with my fiance and I. We're trying to raise a family there.
Thank you. We'll go to, since we've had your findings, we'll go to board deliberation then.
Sure, look at me.
I'll over here first, so just.
Normally he makes,
Why'd you go that way?
normally he makes recommendations, and I think he left it wide open for
Yeah, he
us.
did, he made few recommendations.
His recommendation at the end of his,
Yeah, okay.
we'll start down here.
Well, I think the only ordinance that we're looking at, the variance, is just going up 30 feet.
Mr. Commissioner, if you could please make sure to speak into the microphone.
Better?
Thank you.
Really, the only ordinance that, or the only variances that going up, straight up, nothing's expanding.
Correct.
The ordinance going up is 30 feet, you can't go over that. Whether I like it or I don't like it, I see that happen all the time. The houses, like my house is 100 feet back from the lake, and I see where, you know, my neighbors built up to the lake, took out, you know, a good portion of my view to that direction. And whether I liked it or not didn't matter. What mattered is they own the lot, they could do what they want with it.
Yeah.
And that's the only question I see. It sounds like all over the houses are sharing lot lines and bumping into each other,
Yeah,
but none of that seems to be changing.
yeah, correct. No, you make a good point, I mean, it is staying the same. This is rough.
This is tough. And it just comes down to, I feel bad for the folks that they have a house here and somebody else is gonna build, but it comes down to, okay, yep, who has the right to that airspace almost? How do you, we don't have anything in the ordinance to protect those views.
No, no.
So even though it sucks, because it sucks at my house, well, it doesn't suck, but it's, you know, I dealt with the same thing. It was only interesting what I thought. That's what the law says, the ordinance say this.
Taking everything into consideration from both sides, we're here for the variance. And if the variance is reasonably met, if the variance reasonably meets the zoning code, zoning ordinance, everything else will come out during the permitting, plan review with the building department if it were to pass. I can only base my decision on, does the variance meet the zoning ordinance? And I can't okay, it's nice to have all the information, but when it comes down to it, to me, does the variance meet? So, it is tough, because there are some things that when I initially saw this, I was having a tough time with it, but no, I'm not.
The other one is the substantial justice to both parties,
Right.
all parties. And that's where it gets sticky. So, okay. I'm set. What do you think?
I think this is really tough, but I have to stand with, he's just gonna go straight up. I even pulled up your property on Google Maps to take a look at who was on the other side of you, and how your property sits. But I think I have to say that I would vote, that he could build that.
Anything else? If nothing else, I'll entertain the motion.
You gonna throw it out there this time?
Yeah, all right, I'll throw it out.
Page 53, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I move to approve the dimensional variances for the increased height in case A-26-055, with the first recommendations, set of recommendations as stated in the McKenna letter of page 73.
We'll need a second, if that's the board's pleasure.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Putz,
Yes.
Balo,
No.
Matheson,
Yes.
Loran.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-1. Okay.
Next order.
Okay. Next on our agenda, which is, well, it's about that time of the year, we are up for election of officers. According to our bylaws that were adopted in December 7th, 2023, Section 1, nominations at the first regular meeting of each fiscal year on or after July 1st. The BZA will select from its membership a chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. A candidate receiving a majority vote of the entire membership of the BZA shall be declared elected. A member may accept a nomination in absentia if they have advised the BZA in writing or email is accepted prior to the meeting. The chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary will take.
I can't be in.
Yeah, you can't be anything.
The chair, vice chair, secretary shall take office the following month after their selection and shall hold office for a term of 1 year or until their successors are selected to assume. The current officers are chairperson, Brad Matheson, vice chair, Raymond Putz, and secretary, Dr. Brenton Balo. The election process is as follows. Open nominations for one of the officers. Nominations do not need to be seconded. Accept nominations for that office. Close nominations. Vote on the nominees. However, if only one person is nominated for a position, then a motion may be made and seconded to close the nominations and cast a unanimous ballot for the nominated person for the positions. You can also create a slate of officers if only one person is nominated for an office and vote for the entire slate of officers with one motion. Even though you can't vote, you can still have an input.
Well, I think we should keep the officers the way they are.
I was gonna ask Ray if he wanted a promotion. It's been a while since you've been. If you want a spot, you're more than welcome to.
Or we give Mary something because she's not here.
I think she's already the vice president, right?
She was up there once. I like being Brady's assistant.
I sort of, okay, you want to be VP this time?
The vice.
I'll make a nomination.
Yeah, if the board has one slate and there's no other nominations for a position, you can make one motion for all three positions.
I'll make one motion to continue the officers.
I would state each individual and the position they'd be holding.
Who's currently the VP? Oh, are you? Okay.
I'm the vice chair.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I'll make one nomination for all three, chairperson for Brad Matheson, vice chair Raymond Putz, and secretary Dr. Brenton, sorry, Bailey.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All
Do
in
you
favor?
roll call or all in favor?
We can do roll call. Matheson.
Yes.
Lariat.
Yes.
Putz.
Yes.
Bailo.
Yes.
Next item is unfinished business. I don't think we have any. Seeing no public, I will skip the second public hearing on non-agenda items. The next item is board member comments, and we'll start with Mr. Putz.
Need training.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were gonna get training. Yeah. Are we gonna have any training anytime soon?
Yes, so I actually spoke with the chair about this prior to the meeting, which was also something I wanted to have a conversation with all of you tonight about, is in finding out if there's a specific topic you'd like to go over, or would you like us to maybe put together some mock hearings, or what is it you're looking for? Because I'd like to get something on the agenda for either August or September. I've spoken with the village manager. We'd like to get this training rolling, so.
Yes, because I've been after, this might sound wrong, you're the third planning person that we've gone after for training, and it's in our bylaws. All throughout, regarding training for our responsibilities, ethics requirements, quasi-judicial procedures, that's a start. Seems like there was something else I was pushing earlier, and I can't remember what it is.
Mr. Chair, if it's helpful, I believe former planner Ortega had this discussion with the board at a previous meeting, and your recommendations of training are included in those minutes. And if you'd like, I can share those minutes with Planner Van Boxel.
I got as far as Mr. Ortega, and
the board had a previous discussion with a former planner about what they would like to do for training. It's incorporated in a previous set of minutes. If you'd like, I can share those minutes with Planner Van Boxel.
Yeah, please. Is that it? Sorry.
That's it.
No, I just want to make sure that there's a follow-up on a request earlier about 358, was it Flint Street?
West Flint.
West Flint.
356, yeah.
Yeah, 356. Yeah.
Was it Flint?
Yeah. I'm going to drive by and take a look, see what they're actually doing.
Is that the white buildings? Those were approved by planning commission.
No, it's a house.
Yeah.
It's a house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think I know, because I lived back in there. And I think I've driven by and there was a big dumpster in the driveway. And they were working, but I don't know as far as it turning into a multifamily.
Yeah, if I can. I will also need to confirm, so at first, the member of the public said 385, and then they said 358 West
That's what I
Flint.
thought.
So I'll need to figure out which one of those it is, but Summer will be on site Tuesday.
Okay.
And I will let her know of the correspondence from the public and have her look into that and communicate with code enforcement if necessary, so.
Perfect. That was it.
Okay, congratulations to all the board members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
I forgot, when you're on two boards, there's certain positions you can't have. Okay, we got, and I'm guessing all of us got memorandum from Jacob. Yesterday or today, reminder regarding the authority of the board of Zoning Appeals. So you should have all had that in your email. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I can't think of anything else. There's nothing else. There's nothing outstanding from before that we have revisiting us, do we?
Not that I am aware of. I would make the board aware of potential changes to the zoning ordinance related to standby generators. The Planning Commission will be considering recommending to the Village Council the adoption of some changes to the generators ordinance pertaining specifically to noise limits, placement, hours of operation for maintenance, and I believe one other thing, but it's escaping me at the moment. So if you would like me to send that to you, I'm happy to do so.
Please.
No, absolutely.
What other,
Just put them in the right spot.
there were a couple other amendments.
10 feet away from
Yes, so at the last meeting, we had discussed some amendments to the use of RVs on vacant lots, and I believe Lindsay sent an email with that information. Maybe it was Sonia. I will check, but I can re-forward that email to everyone.
Please, I don't remember, I checked my email before I came and I didn't see anything. And we had gotten, I know in May we got a monthly planning letter. Basically what's up with planning and whatnot. I didn't see one for June. So I don't know if, because June's.
The June planning and zoning report?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I will include that too. I'm trying to find that email right now though, because I do remember seeing it because I was going to send it to you and then someone else beat me to it. So.
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
Okay, we have anything else? Somebody to make a motion.
Yeah, okay, well, he's looking at, then I'm all set. The next item, next regular meeting is August 6th. And I say that with a question mark because.
Do we have anything?
That would be a question for the planner.
Nothing at the moment, but we may hold the meeting if the training information is ready and available. So.
I had heard that the new restaurant is trying to get on the agenda. They need a variance. The Clover and Creek.
Oh.
But I just heard that on the way here, so.
Were they?
They asked me if they were on, they asked me if they were on the agenda, not they. The DDA asked me if they were on the agenda, and I told them, no, I haven't seen it.
Where's that at?
Used to be Oak Soda.
Oh, okay.
right on the corner.
Yep.
Paper road. Totally. Anything else?
I've got nothing else. If nobody else has anything else, entertain a motion.
To adjourn?
Yes. We have,
Yes, so Lindsay sent the email to, yes, to all of you on Friday, May 22nd.
okay. Must have been second. Okay, we have a motion to
And we have a
adjourn, take
second.
support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.